You received a call from an inmate at the Department of Corrections. This call will be recorded and monitored. If you wish to block any future calls of this nature, dial 7 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this call, hang up.
Hello, K-Dog. How are you? Yeah, see, we've been having problems like that across the state. I think we need to try to lobby the legislature to put an oversight or something on the Department of Corrections, because they're just doing all these things behind closed doors, and they're trying to get the public to say there's nothing going on and you don't need to be concerned about it. You know, they did the crime, they should do the time. And that's exactly what we're trying to fight out here. What goes on behind those walls should not be private. You guys are under the care of the state, and whether you're being properly cared for. Yeah, I know, that's a good comparison. It is like a daycare center. You know, if I were to put my child in daycare, and the daycare were to keep things secret or not tell me what was going on with my child, and if I had to go through extreme security and couldn't go back into the main area and tour the facility, I think that would be unacceptable. Right. That's I agree that you guys must be well cared for. You know, in times of war, no matter where you are, if the enemy is captured, they have a certain requirement, certain things that they have to follow. And, they can't torture them. They can't starve them. They need to care for their health. And that's a case where you have two sides that want to kill each other. And yet they're humane enough to care for the people that they did not kill. And you guys, there's different reasons why you're in prison. Well, yeah, I know. I've been hearing a lot about the sex offenders, but they are human, and some of them do qualify for release. And so, if we mistreat those people and mess with their health, and they wind up getting out and affecting the health of somebody else, costing the state a lot of money in medical expenses, or if they're traumatized, to the point where they just want to lash out at somebody, that's not helping. And the public needs to know that good mental health, a good positive attitude, a good self-image, these are things that people should come out of the prison with. Okay, I will give you that. There are people that no matter what you do to them, they're not going to change. I know that. And I think
you have 60 seconds remaining.
These people should stay in prison, or they should kind of get some kind of treatment or something. Maybe there's something that happened during a childhood incident and they need psychiatrist and some medication or something. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing that information. I'm definitely going to take it as it's relayed to me, and I'm going to...
You have 30 seconds remaining.
Share it with the group, and we'll see what we can do to try to help you guys. So, you fight the fight Do the best you can. Serve that time well. Okay. Yeah, anything that you see in there or hear, or that you feel needs to be shared with the public, you let me know. Okay, I will be very happy to hear from you. Okay, there you have it. Welcome to AQS Inmate Call. I am your host, Joel Wilborn, and in this episode, I would like to discuss the concerns that I have over the secret society behind prison walls. Now, anybody who's watched a show about prison, whether it's a documentary or if it's a drama, a fictitious account of what goes on behind the walls, you'll see that there's a lot of illegal activity that goes on, a lot of abuse of power or cover-ups. Just it's just like a bunch of crime going on in an area that should be pretty much crime-free and should be promoting a crime-free society and should be helping people to get out and get away from a life of crime. And I don't think, even the fictitious stuff is too far off, because the stories I hear from people when they get out, that goes in there, is just mind-boggling. And, the inmates, the people that are incarcerated, they are guilty of doing some bad stuff, committing some crimes and breaking the rules, as well as some staff members. And then there's staff members that do well, and then there's the incarcerated people that do well. So it just depends on the person, the facility, the circumstances. And what I'm concerned about here is, just think of this as being like one of those little situations where you can see something 24 hours. Let's say there's an eagle lays some eggs, and you're looking at a cam that's shining on the nest. You can tune in anytime you want, and you see what's going on with the eagle, and you can learn some stuff from it. And for some people, that's very exciting, and it's something that they enjoy looking at, whereas other people aren't so interested in it. Now, imagine if you're doing a story about eagles and you want to discuss a 1 hour period or something like that. Tuning into those type of broadcast is a good thing. It's very entertaining, very educational, and for the most part, it satisfies you. Picture people in prison, and all of the security cameras can be viewed 24 hours by the people out in public. What do you think you would see? How do you think they would react? This is a public facility funded by taxpayers. And we have a right to know what's going on in there. In one of the interviews I did on my YouTube channel, I talked to James Curtis, and he said he would like to have body cameras on the prison officials, especially when they go inside of a prison cell, which is the most private place, I guess you could say, in the prison, because there's no cameras in there. And when the people go into the cell, they can sit on a one-on-one and talk with people. The incarcerated people can talk to the officials, and the officials can talk to the incarcerated people without a lot of cameras and stuff going on. But James Curtis believes that there's things that happen in those cells that could harm the incarcerated person, or it could harm the official, or it could help the official and help the incarcerated person. And he's just saying that there are times that you want to record incidences. And you know, if we're looking at these prisons and we log onto a website or something and we're watching these things, you know, what do you think you would see? Would the officials be a little more likely to follow policy? Would the incarcerated people be a lot kinder? Or would there be a little more chaos in there? I do like the idea of opening up the prison. I can understand legislators' office or laptop or phone, or even dealings within the committee meetings and stuff. I can see them wanting to keep that quiet because the public doesn't need to know everything. And a lot of times people feel more comfortable expressing their views when they know they're not being scrutinized by the eyes of the nation. It's just that prison's different from that. And it's a public place. And the people are under constant watch. And so just to make that available, or maybe these prison cameras, you know, you could check them out at the records unit or something, or get copies of them, and you can just sit and look at what's going on in there. I don't think we should have prison officials that are just out on their own. Those days are gone, especially when the people are abusing it. You know, when you got prison officials doing things that allow incarcerated people to blackmail them, or when you have certain individuals in there taking advantage of their status, then we need to know that, because these are folks that could come out into our community and live next to us. And I'm talking about the prison officials or the incarcerated people. You know, would you really feel comfortable living next to a prison official who beats incarcerated people and belittles them, criticizes their race, religion, sexual orientation, and walks out the prison feeling that their life is full of power and control? And, you know, these people are working next to you, or their kids are going to your school, and they're getting away with all of this and passing it on to the public with no repercussions. And they can do it in secret because they're allowed to keep things hidden. I would really like to see prisons officials be held accountable for their actions. I know there's reports and stuff people can see, but it can be kind of boring and it can be tedious to get the information. But when I look at them and I see the cost per prisoner, I see how prisoners get the wrong medication or simple medication. They could be asking for an aspirin and not get that. And there's people out there that feel very vindictive. And when they get out of prison, they're just angry. the way they're treated. And if they express it to folks and folks just say, well, so what? You did the crime. They feel that their lives have no meaning. And why would we want anybody, no matter what this crime this person committed, why would we want anybody to get out and continue to commit crimes? Or feel as if their life doesn't mean anything, and no matter what they do or say, they're going to be mistreated. I look at it like this. They commit the crime, they get caught, they go to prison, they walk out. That means they're ready for society. And preparing people for society doesn't mean kicking them when they're down. It doesn't mean expending an exorbitant amount of money just to prove a point. So, if we can team up, gather a bunch of similar-minded people together, where we could petition the government to hold the Department of Corrections a little more accountable for what they're doing, we might be able to save on money, save on recidivism, and reduce the number of prisons in the United States. And I don't really think it's that difficult to do. With today's technology and with the communication open, we have social media that does it, and we have cell phones that can call all over the country, and videos that can be shared right away. It's just, why are we suppressing this technology and allowing prisons to be run the same way they were 100 years ago? This is like the 1920s. And, let's just lock them up and throw away the key. Who cares? I do care. Especially about the people who are innocent, who were put in there. And the poor young folks that get put in there because they made one stupid mistake. And they'll admit their guilt at the trial, and they'll admit their guilt to their family and to anybody that asks. And they're sitting in there, of course, traumatized because they committed a crime, and they feel that they need to be there, they need to be punished, but they don't feel that they should be treated like their life is meaningless, and that serving their time and getting out has no meaning. They're sentenced to 3 years, they serve the 3 years, they get out, and then people just want to tack it on for the rest of their life. How can we justify treating people like that? In the interview I did with Marianne Atkins, she mentioned that there would be a few things that she would like to see changed. And with her life, she feels that if people had paid more attention to her and offered her more resources and stuff, it could have helped her. And this is coming from the person who actually committed the murder. And talking to her now, she recites things, terrible things that happened in her life. And now she regrets it. And, some of the stuff she did, she wasn't caught and convicted for. But she feels that when she gets out, she doesn't want to go back to that life. She says she doesn't want to be that person again. And I support that 100%. I'd like to see her get out. I've seen so many people get out and turn away from that life of crime. Turn from the gangs, turn from the the bad, negative features that defined them before. And all it takes is just supportive relationships. We just need to work with them. They're in prison. That's bad enough. And when they get out, let's work with them so that they don't go back in there. That's the way to reduce crime. And that's the way to make our community safe. We know incarcerated people committed a crime. We know who they are. We identify them. We can keep an eye on them. The ones we need to be concerned about are the neighbors next door that something will happen in their life that just makes them want to go out and kill somebody, or wants to make them go out and assault people or steal or commit a series of crimes. Those are the ones we need to be concerned about. So while you're saying yes, 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 we got people locked up, think about the future criminals, the people that are on the edge of committing crimes, that the people that are in prison right now, once they get out, they could help, they could mentor them, they could hire them for jobs, keep them off the street. You know, these are things that can be done to prevent crimes from happening. And one of the best places to get your information is from people who are currently incarcerated. They have a wealth of knowledge that they would like to share, and we're just kind of holding them back. Why do that? So if you want to hear from the words of incarcerated people, just tune in to the Joel Wilborn channel on YouTube and just pick somebody and reach out to JPay and talk to him. I'm going to try to get JPay, to offer some free stamps so that you can get on, at least check it out. I know some people are kind of tuned away from it. But if you're also interested in it, I have how to set up JPay on the YouTube channel as well. But let's just not sit there and let crime grow. Let's work together and get rid of it. And you might think that you can't do anything, but I think that's about the biggest mistake that you can come up with right now, is thinking that you're not significant, thinking that you can't make a difference, and thinking that by ignoring this, it's going to go away. These are things that we can easily turn and change. We just need to find a common ground. And I'm thinking, let's help the people. They've already fallen down. And if they don't want our help, or if they decide that they can do things on their own and committing the crimes are a great accomplishment for them, or pride or something, well, then let's just leave them be. They commit the crime, go to prison, they don't want our help, not much else we can do. But just being there, talking to them, listening, I think that helps. So go out and have yourself a wonderful day and make beautiful memories for tomorrow.